Alright guys, just give me a second here. I gotta rant really quick. Ben, people want to believe that we've been to the moon so bad. People have been told their whole lives since they were a kid that we've been to the moon. And they go through the educational system and they've always been told that we've been to the moon. And then they get to university and their university professors are telling them that we've been to the moon. But it's not true. We haven't been to the moon. It's a lie. And I'm not going to argue things that can be explained. I'm not going to argue why some shadows go this way, some shadows go this way. I'm not going to argue the lighting. I'm not going to argue why the stars aren't shown. I'm not going to argue why the flag looks like it's waving if they're on the moon. I only argue bullet to the head arguments, things that can't be explained. And it's awful. I'll argue with people who think that we've gone to the moon, and then all of a sudden they experience cognitive dissonance, and they're like, what'd you say? My moon? My precious moon? I was totally been to the moon. No, it's a lie. We didn't go to the moon. Name one time where humans have journeyed somewhere interesting, and no other country has followed. USA puts man on the moon. No other country has put someone on the moon. Name me one time where technology has gone in reverse and got more expensive to produce. Name me one time where one of the greatest achievements of mankind has been deleted to save tapes by an organization that makes $22 billion per year. In Neil Armstrong's first interview, his body language did not reflect somebody, a hero that has gone to the moon, so he was denied interviews for 30 years. You'd think, the very first man who has ever set foot on the moon, not an interview in 30 years. Moon rocks that Neil Armstrong gave Holland were just petrified wood. They're worthless. They're not real moon rocks. Bush, Clinton, Obama all said they were going to the moon. Prepped up, bailed. Prep, bailed. Every single time. Okay, what about the private sector? Elon Musk says he's going to the moon. Bails. Now he's going to Mars. Oh, well, there's nothing on the moon. Wrong. There's $1 trillion tourism business. It would be the perfect place to study Earth. There's no atmosphere. You can study the stars all day long. We have bases on the Arctic, Antarctica, Greenland, not the moon. Why don't we have scientists on the moon? No other country has ever been on the moon. NASA deleted 1 metric ton of telemetry tapes. And then people say, oh, well, the telemetry tapes, they were unusable. NASA claims they reused the tapes. NASA said they were facing budget problems, so they had to reuse the tapes. The United States, they wanted to go to the moon. They did. JFK was running his mouth in the early 60s. Oh, the moon. We're going to be the first country to go to the moon. And don't get me wrong, I believe they tried. I'm sure they had the greatest scientists trying to figure out how we're going to get the moon. How are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? The United States was in a Cold War. There was a communist threat. There was a nuclear threat. They were getting beaten by Vietnam. Morale was low, guys. Martin Luther King shot. Bobby Kennedy shot. JFK shot. There was riots. There was bombings. It was bad, guys. The United States had to boost morale. They had to win the Cold War. They thought Russia was going to beat them to the moon. And no, I don't think at the time that NASA was trying to deceive people. But the problem is, when you do a big lie like that, now you have to keep spitting several lies in order to keep your lie afloat. So you might be asking yourself, why is NASA still continuing to lie? Because could you imagine what would happen when the masses find out that the government lied to them? Because once you realize that the government can lie about the moon landings, you have to ask yourself, what else are they lying about? That's why they don't want you to know. And if you're somebody who has heard my arguments and the first thing you do is trying to think of a counter argument like, oh man, what could it be? You're just experiencing cognitive dissonance and get over yourself. And then people say, oh Sam, like you're kind of going off the edge, saying all this moon landing stuff's fake. Guys, do your research. Guys, I want to believe we went to the moon too, but we didn't go. And it's sad because we live in a time where you're not allowed to question science. All we're told is just to regurgitate information and don't question the science. They don't want you to know the truth.